How's it going? I'm not James Taylor. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. I've used that shtick a lot, so I'm sorry. But Hobbs, I was going to do the Dick Gould imitation, but now the Billy Wright, I can't follow Bill Wright. Kevin, thanks a lot. That was great. Kevin's been incredibly loyal over the years. I called him up and said I hesitated because he's down in Long Beach. He's a busy guy, and wife and kids. And I said, hey, do you mind coming up? And he said, when is it? I told him. And he said, I'll be there. He didn't check his schedule. He didn't talk to his wife, and he's been like that as long as I've known him. Just an incredibly loyal friend. I want to thank the committee. It's really, and when you look at the list of people in this Hall of Fame, it's just it's remarkable. I'm honored. Thank you. Congratulations to the inductees. Hubbs, I'll never forget you beating me in Modesto. I'm still kind of pissed off about it. Susie Mehmet Bosic, haven't seen you in a long time. We used to take those back-to-back lessons from Dennis Vandermeer at the Berkeley Tennis Club, and you've never missed a ball then. I'm sure you haven't missed one since. Vandermeer sort of had that high South African accent. Billy Mays, how's it going? How's Georgie? How's Joni? But he'd say, hit it like Susie, and I said, I can't hit it like Susie. She's better than me. Rich Anderson, I used to, even though I look older than you, I used to watch you, and I was just always impressed with your professionalism and your intensity, and I just thought you were the ultimate professional. And Bob, I don't know you, but I've read about you, and congratulations on an incredible career. I want to get the mushy stuff over with early because I'm not good with mushy. I want to thank my family. My father got us started down in Bakersfield, a nice place to grow up. Not a lot going on in Bakersfield, so it was a good thing to do. And he was a great guy. He was a farmer, and he'd say, hey, Billy, you want to go look at the crops with me, the cotton? And I'd say, could you just drop me off at the club? That would be great. But he really loved tennis. He came up with that idea to have North and South play in the juniors, and he passed away suddenly in the early 70s. And I want to thank Peter Herb for getting the Mays Cup started. I think a big hand for Peter Herb is in order. I'll never forget Peter Herb coming up to me when I was 10 or 12 and saying, hey, we got a court for you. You want to go on early? And he was an incredible guy and still is. My mother, the fun-loving, warm, unconditional parent. Honey, how'd you do? I lost. I'm sorry. Do you want a tuna sandwich? That'd be great. So she was amazing. Hung in there until last summer. My brother George, who would prefer me not to mention his name because he doesn't like any limelight. Any of you who know George knows he's got the driest sense of humor you will ever see. He gets things done with very few words. But if I ever thought I was getting pretty good, or he would, in a kind way, let me know that I'm Bill Mays, and he'd keep me down to earth. My sister Joan, the nicest person I know, warm, got my mother's warmth, and just so supportive. So I want to dedicate this award to my family. They deserve it as much as I do. So big hand for the Mays family. But before I leave Bakersfield, there was a guy there named Dennis Ralston. He's not here today, but he had a huge influence on all of us in Bakersfield. I don't know if Marianne Wardell's here today. I thought I saw her name on the list, but Marianne, how are you? She and I learned how to play there at the Bakersfield Racquet Club, and Dennis Ralston was a huge influence on us, as well as Andy Davidson. Ralston he not only was a great player, but he had a heart. When my dad passed away in the early 70s, I was 17, and Denny called me up and he said, hey, you want to come down to Little Rock, Arkansas? We're playing a Davis Cup match down here. He was the captain of the team. You want to be my water boy? I said, hell yes. And I was down there, and I got to hang out with Eric Van Dillen and Stan Smith and Tom Gorman, and I don't know if Eric remembers, but they lost that second set to Cornejo and Field 37-35, lost that set, but they, of course, won the last 3 sets to win 5. And that was a great experience for me. And I'm sure Eric doesn't remember, but we flew home on the same plane. He got me up in the first class section, and I think he bought me a beer. I think I was only 17 or something, Eric. But we talked all the way home, and I know just a very kind thing that you did for me there, and I appreciate it. We moved up to Northern California after that. The Berkeley Tennis Club was a huge part of my development, and I want to thank Don Jacobus, he was the guy who hit with the juniors to see if they were, if he was giving us the thumbs up, and he gave me the thumbs up, so thank you, Mr. Jacobus. Where are you, Don? There he is. Thank you, Mr. Jacobus. We used to play for Cokes, and I think I owe him about 75 Cokes still. He just drop shot and lob me all day long. But and another guy at the BTC, Brent Abel. Brent just drove, 2,000 miles just to get here. I appreciate you being here, Brent. I got to know Brent later on, and I used to do a lot of drilling, aiming for tennis ball cans, and he called me up and say, cans, BTC, 12 noon, see ya. So it was a very minimal message on the machine, but he helped me get better. Another guy, Doug King. I feel like I played him every day of my life for about 6 years. Douglas, where are you? You're here somewhere. Oh yeah, there he is. I feel like I played him every day, and I'm not sure I won a set. I mean, the guy, I would continue to serve and volley, and he would continue to hit the Tom Stowe backhand return at my feet every single time. And so I credit Doug for developing a good low volley and a good half volley. Thank you, Douglas. The guy who really influenced me the most at the Berkeley Tennis Club was a guy named Jeff Borowiak. And I love the guy. He was about 6-7 years older than me, a great player, unique to say the least. He would call me up and he would say, could this be William? And I would say, this is William. He would say, would you like to hit some balls at the BTC around 10:13? And I'd say, I'll be there at 10:12. And so we would hit. I was not a good practice player. Talk to Dick or Doug or Brent. I was not a good practice player, but with him I got better, because Borowiak, you learn not to miss the ball, because he never missed the ball. So you go slower and you work on the feet and you make it. I remember we did a drill. He caught the ball one day, and he said, William, I did this drill one day, and the next day I beat Borg 2-1. 2-1 I beat Borg. And he said, but that really has no relevance. Let's get right back to it. Hey, hey, hey. Could be, hey, 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 hey. He had this perfect posture. He's sitting in a chair. A guy never, was never off balance in his life. But I love Borowiak so much. I mean, he got into my blood. I mean, I'd go back to whoever I was hanging out with, and they'd say, hey, how was the hit with Boro? And I'd say, not bad, not bad. And they'd say, man, you've been hanging out with him a lot, huh? And I'd say, could be, so, but he, and he was not a braggart. I mean, he told me about that drill because he thought it would help me, and Corny knows about Boro. I mean, the guy was incredible. So I think the Berkeley Tennis Club was a huge part of my life. After that, of course, I was recruited by the greatest tennis coach in the history of the game, Dick Gould, and he was amazing before I got to Stanford, amazing while I was there, and he's been amazing since. I remember on a home visit, he came in and we chatted, and I said, I was trying to decide where to go, and I said, if I go to Stanford, will I be set for life? And he said, I don't think so. He said, I don't think so. He said, and I appreciated that honesty, because he could have easily played the Stanford card, and so I thought that was, I've remembered that ever since. He said, I think wherever you go, you might get your foot in the door, but you're going to have to work hard. When I was at Stanford, if you want a good match, and I've got to do a little bit of Dick Gould, but when you win a good match, Dick wants to share it with you, and he's got that walk, and he's kind of. Hey Billy, I mean it. Get in here. God dang it, you son of a gun. Get in here. Come on. And you're not sure if you want to go in there, because the handshake. If you go in there with that handshake, you're not coming out for a while. I mean, he's going headlock. He's going forehead to forehead. I mean, you son of a gun. You played a heck of a match. And if you feign any kind of false modesty at all, than you might get, what very few people have gotten. I'm sure Paul Goldstein's gotten it, but you have to have played for him, and you have to feign some modesty, and he might cuss at you just a little bit. He might say, "God dang, you son of a beep! You son of a beep! I mean it. You know, but yeah, you're really, not many people are in that club, so I feel lucky to be in that club. But in all seriousness, Dick Gould is, yeah, I mean, everyone's been talking about him all night, and I know I'm getting a little long here with this speech, but years later I had him write me a letter of recommendation, and he wrote he lied and wrote these incredible letter. I wrote him a thank you note, and a handwritten thank you note, and I sent it to him. I got my thank you note back in the mail. I swear he drove it over and put it in my mailbox, but he wrote over my thank you note, "Hey Billy, you don't ever have to thank me for this kind of stuff. I'll do it for you anytime. You're the best!" 3 exclamation points and 2 smiley faces, Coach. And you know that the guy continues to go beyond the call of duty, as we all know, every single day, and I can't thank you enough, Dick, for everything you've done for me. Let's see. And you know that I've really gone on a little too long here, but I got into coaching after that, and I've done it for 24 years. Ted Leland gave me my first job at University of the Pacific. He said, "We'll pay you $20,000." I said, "Can you make it 22?" And he said, "Okay." So I'm a hard bargaining guy. But I've been at UC Davis for 19 years. I love Davis. It's just a diamond in the rough. I want to thank Phil Sello's been my volunteer assistant for years. He doesn't have to do it, but he comes out every time I'm with Phil. I learn something new. Darrell Lee was my office mate for 17 years, and he's not here today, but he and I, we helped each other a lot, hopefully, and he's a great guy. Christina Fusano helped me for 1 year. I snagged her right after she finished the circuit, and she's a natural coach. I remember first day of practice, she was lobbying our players. Our players said, "Coach, can we do it on the other side? The sun's really bad." And she said, "Does the sun come out on match days?" And our players said, "Yeah." And she said, "We're not changing it. Next." But she is a great coach. And last but not least, Sarah Morris Jackson is here. She's helped me for 9 years, and she's the brains behind the outfit. She's funny. She's smart. She's incredible, and she's about ready to have a third beautiful little girl. And last but not least, I want to thank my little girl. I got a late start, but I've got a little girl, Stella, 9 years old. Best thing that ever happened to me. And that's it. Thank you again, and thanks to the committee.